Okay, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
What made you want to become a life coach?
Well, all of my adult life, as I can recall, I've always been that person that's helping other people in some way. They come to me for advice and things like that. And becoming a life coach was actually by accident. And when I made the decision to do it, it was because I was going to counseling and I was asked a question. Um, what is it that you would do if you weren't getting paid for it? And my question was to help others. And the counselor said, she said, well, because I was unhappy with the drop I was in at that time, she said, well, why not be a life coach? And I never really thought about it. And then when I looked at my life and reflected on how I was that person, I said, okay, why not? So then prior to all of that, I was doing self-help books, listening to Zig Ziglar and Tony Roberts and all of those things, and I didn't know why. And so it all just fell in place for me to be a life coach to help other people, especially women, mostly women.
And how did you get started?
Well, once I've made a decision to become a life coach, I decided to take some training. Because even when as a life coach, you really don't need formal training for it. But I wanted to have the training behind me. So I decided to go to a class, which was 6 weeks of training that I did and got certified as a life coach.
When you first started, how dedicated to it were you, and how has that changed?
I would say that my dedication when I first started was a little iffy because I was new at it and I wasn't quite sure how to go about to open up a practice or to get started. So I didn't have all the energy behind it. But as time went on and I began to read and grow, and it became my baby. I would tell people it's like a second part of me. It's like a second arm. Now I'm totally committed to it. This is what I know that I'm here on earth to do, to be a life coach. And so I decided to put all of me into it. So that's why I've committed to it. And as I told you earlier, I just left my job to really invest more time into my business, my coaching.
And were you mentored or helped by anyone?
I was mentored by the counselor that I had because she's a life coach as well. I didn't go to her for life coaching. I went to her for personal reasons, marital issues, and it turned out to be more than that, working with her. So she mentored me, and even to this day, she still mentors me and guide me through. I did take some classes with some other coaches, and I still can refer back to them as I practice my practice because it's constantly changing. Things are constantly changing. So
Oh, I'm sure they are, yes.
yeah,
Did you know that you would reach this goal of starting a new business?
yes, yes. I knew since I've been an adult, I've always had some type of business on the side, somebody else's business or working for another company or something like that, um, selling MK products or Tupperware products and all that. So I knew that it was in me to have a business. I come from a generations of entrepreneurs. So for me to work for someone else has always been a challenge because I knew that I had to have my own business. I just didn't know what it was until I discovered the coaching. And the coaching, I call it a practice because that's what we do. It's more of me. It's mine. My name is on it. It's not someone else's. It's mine. So I do this because I love it. So I knew I was going to be successful in it. There's no doubt about it. It was just finding the right timing to all come together.
And how long did it take you to get to this point of starting your own business?
I I started my business in 2018 I launched in 2018, and no, I'm sorry, I launched in 2019. I started in 2018. So to be to where I'm at today, I'm going to say it took me 2 years to get to this point, or maybe a year and a half, because this revelation of this dedication started actually in October of last year, where it was a total commitment of going all in. It was something I was doing on the side, but not all in. So I guess you're going to say about a year and a half to 2 years to really get totally committed to it.
Okay, so it has taken quite a bit of time, right? This isn't just like a 3-month process.
No. And if anyone believes that starting a business that quickly from scratch takes 3 months, then no. I'm still learning even today. Still got some bumps and bruises to go through, but
Right.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure everyone who started a small business agrees with you with that.
Yeah, it's nothing instantly, and it takes a lot of. That's why, people say, I just left my 9 to 5 and put it all in, because to be successful, that's what it takes. You can do it part-time, but that success is going to be harder. So you have to develop that commitment to say, okay, I'm going to put it all what I have into this so it can be successful. Not saying that someone can't, but it's harder.
Right.
And that was my struggle. My struggle was just that. I was working my 9 to 5, working 6 a.m. in the morning to 2:30. And by the time I get home, I'm too tired to do anything else. And so for the last job I just had, that was even worse. I was working 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So imagine, and I live an hour away. So that's 10 hours, 12 hours on the road. By the time I get home, there's no invested into ABBA the way that I wanted to.
So while you were creating this, were you helped with any technology, advice from Reddit or help with Google or anything like that?
Yes, I did Google search for a lot of things that I was looking for, like getting my license and working with the state, developing my website. I had to do that on my own because finances, I didn't have it. So a lot of things that I had to do a lot of research with Google, Wix.com, Estes, Pinterest, all of those, because I use a lot of Unsplash. I use a lot of their pictures to put on my group page. So yeah, none of it is organically made like Canva. I make those myself, but I needed that software and those platforms to do that.
Absolutely. So did tracking your goals and to-dos help you on the way?
Yes, because again, starting on your own and trying to figure out what all you need to do, how you get your state license, you have to have a checklist. Like my launch part, I had to have a checklist of my things to do to get that started. Eventbrite, check that off as I planned it. Now I have an event that's called Reflection Toward Your Future, and that's going to be an annual event. So I have to keep track of all of that to make sure that it gets better every time, where I can improve or what I can delete. So I have to keep a track of all of that.
So changing topics a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
What was the best advice that you ever received?
To always do something. Always do something. Never stop doing something toward your goal. So my goal was to have my business and launch it at a certain time. And the advice was given. I don't care, every day, even though I had time restraints, it was always you had to do something. Whether you're posting, whether you're doing research, whether you developing a platform, always do something toward your goal. And I find that was just the best advice, because as you develop in a business, you get frustrated when things are not happening as quickly as you would like. So sometimes that puts you to step back and you stop, because things are not clicking. Those ends are not connecting. So you're in the middle and you really don't know what to do. So you just stop and you give up. And my mentor told me those words. He said, never stop doing something. That was the best advice I can give anybody, or anybody in anything, whether it's developing a new habit. um Never give up.
Right.
Want to lose weight? Never give up. Do something toward it.
What advice would you give to yourself when you just started, knowing what you know now?
What advice would I give to myself now? When I first got started, I would have, knowing what I know now, wouldn't have got as frustrated and beat up on myself when things wasn't coming together. I would sit down and breathe and take it in, and actually look at why I'm stuck. What could be different? How could I do that different? But never give up on where I was, because even in the beginning, not knowing what I was doing, those frustrations came. And there was times that I didn't do anything for a week or two, but it was always in me not to stop. So I would tell myself the same thing. Never give up. Keep moving forward.
So while you were starting and running your business, what was your largest obstacle and how did you overcome it?
My largest obstacle was me. Because I got in my own head and I started doubting myself. Doubting, is this the right thing for me to do? I'm not good enough to do this. Um, I'm not going to be successful. So I started hearing all those little things in my head, and they start playing on me. So for me to overcome those things, I am a very, I guess I want to say, um, I'm going to say visual, but also auditory type of person. So I listen to a lot of gospel music or a lot of inspirational music, and I read a lot of inspirational books. And so for me, it was listening to a certain song. I had a certain song that I picked out that I listened to every day. I listened to it before this meeting because I listened to it before everything that I do now. And it helps me move forward. So when I was in those places, that's what I would do. Then I started affirmations. Affirmations is one of the pillars of my business. It's a pillar. I believe in those affirmations to the heart. So I started repeating those affirmations. I started listening to affirmations every single day on my way to work. I work 40 minutes away. I listened to an affirmation on YouTube till I got to work. All to put positive things in my mind, to put positive energy in my body, helped me when those things was down. So surrounding yourself around positivity, whether it's a person or you can go online to pull something up, helps you move forward. And that's what I did.
As a life coach, you do mentoring, but would you ever consider being a mentor in terms of how to help others start businesses?
Yes, I believe in giving back. Someone invested in me, and I would definitely invest in someone else that was trying to start a business and improve themselves in any kind of way they could. Um, we all have to help one another, and what goes around comes around. And I just believe that if you invest in others, others going to invest in you, and it all going to come back to you. So if you want to look at it being a little bit of selfish way and say, I'm doing this because I know I'm going to get a reward because I did this, then if that's what it takes for you to invest in others, then that's what they do. But yeah, I would definitely help someone else that was trying to start their own business. In fact, I do. In fact, I have. And in my last job, not the one I had now, but the one I had prior, I had a young lady that was getting ready to start her own catering business, and she didn't know where to start. And so I gave her the advice that I was given. but I also gave her the tools that she needed, what the website she go to for this or the website she needed to go for that, and showed her how to do the research for her business. So yes, I know that's a long-winded way to your question, answer to your question, but yes.
So, how do you collaborate with others?
Well, I believe that not just people that's in my circle, that are coaches, but people that are outside the circle that does other businesses, get together with them and have a conversation, um, to find out how they're doing what they do. And maybe what they're doing, it may not be the same industry, but it's always something you can take away. So just being able, like meetups. Meetups is a group that I was with. I had been on meetups before when I was living in other city. But then I decided to come back, and that's how I met you, through meetups. So just getting those type of groups. Um, I was part of Toastmasters, and I was part of the city I lived in. I was part of the Chamber of Commerce. So yes, getting involved with other people in different industries help everybody.
So, do you journal your experiences or
Oh,
record them in any other way?
I do journal my experiences. I really do. I believe in journaling to the highest. That is one of the another pillar of my business. Um, any thoughts that I have, I journal. Anything that I struggle with, I journal about. Any good things that happen, I journal about it. I just believe in journaling helps you get it out. I had this episode this morning with the current job I have. I couldn't decide on when should I give a notice. And I journaled about it this morning to get it out on paper, put it in the atmosphere so I can get a better understanding of it. And that's what journaling would do. It gives you a better understanding. It gets you to get it off of you, because we have a tendency of holding things in. And when you hold it in, you can't make great decisions because you so stuffed up. But when you journal and put it on paper, it releases it. It gives you a different feeling because you don't let it go. And so I do believe in journaling. All of my clients that I have, when they become a client of mine, they get a journal. They get a journal and a pen.
So, how do you keep organized? Do you use like digital notes or to-do lists or anything of that sort?
I do to-do lists. I love my to-do list. I have a notebook here that I have with me, and it is color coded. So I have to prepare for my group, my Facebook group. I do weekly topics and daily inspirations, or whatever you want to call it. I put it on week one. Every day there's a different topic. So yes, I use my calendar and my color codes to do that.
So, this is more of a general, sort of a broad question, but what advice would you give anyone on how to be successful?
To be successful, I believe you have to believe in yourself first. You have to have that faith and courage in the higher power that's going to lead you to that direction that you were put here on this earth for, because I believe that each one of us is put here for a reason. Once you tap into that, your belief in that you can accomplish anything, you have to stand firm on it. You have to be able to remove the white noise. The white noise is all the naysayers, all the things that come into play that you can't do this or why you can't do that. That always gonna come into play. It's always gonna have someone that's gonna have that negativity, but you have to be able to ignore that, basically. Never give up on your dream. Never stop dreaming. Always do something. Never get stagnated. And actively become better always. And that basically means you're always doing something to improve yourself.
Last question. What is the best way to contact you?
Well, you can follow me here. That's one way. I do have a website, and it's www DesireeRiggs.net. I have a Facebook page. My Facebook group is Women Growing in Self-Awareness, Confidence, and Esteem, which stands for ACE. And you can get that on Facebook groups. You can find me there. And I'm also on Instagram. Instagram slash ABB Always Life Coach. That's how I can be reached.
Great. Great. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate the time.
I really appreciated you giving me the opportunity, and it was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.